All right, so welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going to be looking at, we're going to be tackling AI. AI has been in the news a lot lately, especially its impact on, well, us. Like, is it going to make us dumber?
You mean like less able to think for ourselves?
Exactly. And we're going to be focusing on an article by James Titcomb. He's the technology editor over at The Telegraph. And it came out pretty recently, February 20th, 2025. So it's pretty up to date.
Yeah, it seems like every day there's a new headline about
I
AI.
know, right? It's hard to keep up. But this article really got me thinking, like, are we becoming too reliant on AI, at the expense of our own brains?
It's a good question. I mean, there's definitely this tension, right, between the potential benefits of AI and the possibility of, well, kind of losing some of our own abilities.
Yeah, and the article starts off with an example that I think a lot of people can relate to, especially if you've got kids in school. It talks about this kind of arms race happening in education right now.
Oh, right, with students using like ChatGPT to write their essays?
Exactly. And then teachers are trying to figure out how to catch them. It's almost like a game of cat and mouse, but with technology.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, the Pew Research Center found that something like a quarter of teenagers admit to using ChatGPT for homework.
A quarter? That's crazy. Is this just cheating, or is there something, I don't know, something deeper going on here?
Well, I think it definitely points to this bigger shift, right, in how we think about like knowledge and learning. Is it more important to actually understand something or just know how to use the right tool to get the answer?
Exactly. Like, are we sacrificing genuine learning for efficiency? And that kind of leads into the heart of this article. There's this research from Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon that suggests using AI tools might actually be linked to, well, lower levels of critical thinking.
Oh, wow. So it's like the more we rely on these AI tools, the less we actually engage in that deep thinking ourselves.
It seems that way. And before we go any further, maybe we should define critical thinking, just so everyone's on the same page, because we throw that term around a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So critical thinking, it's about, well, it's not just about absorbing information. It's about, really engaging with it, questioning things, analyzing, evaluating. You're not just taking things at face value.
It's like you're actively thinking, right?
Exactly. It's crucial for like problem solving, making decisions, pretty much everything we do.
So if we're offloading that thinking to AI, are we losing something crucial?
Well, the study found that the more confident people were in AI, the less likely they were to actually, think critically. And there's this anecdote in the article that really stuck with me about a programmer who felt completely helpless without his AI assistant.
Helpless? Like how?
He couldn't even code on a flight because he didn't have Wi-Fi. The AI couldn't help him, and he felt totally lost. It really makes you wonder, like, are we becoming so dependent that we can't function without it?
It's kind of a scary thought, isn't it? But, people have been worried about technology rooting our minds for, well, forever. Like, didn't Socrates think writing would destroy our memories?
Right. And people freaked out about calculators. They thought kids would never learn math. So is this just like another moral panic? Is AI really that different?
I mean, it does seem like a similar thing of fear, doesn't it?
It is similar, but AI presents a unique challenge. I mean, previous technologies like writing and calculators, they mostly helped us with storing information or, doing calculations faster.
Okay, so how is AI different?
Well, AI has the potential to actually do our thinking for us. There's this quote from, Professor Michael Gerlich. He's a behavioral psychologist. And he says, when you can offload your whole thinking process to technology, and the technology says, I can think for you, this is where the difference comes.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. It's like we're giving up control of our own minds. So where do we go from here? Does the article offer any solutions? I vaguely remember something about reasoning systems.
Yeah, reasoning systems, that's right. So these are AI systems that actually show their work. Like you can see the steps the AI took to reach a conclusion.
Oh, so it's not just giving you the answer, it's showing you how it got there.
Exactly. It's like having a tutor built into the AI. And the idea is that this could encourage users to think more critically about the process rather than just blindly accepting the output.
That makes a lot of sense. So instead of just being a black box, it's more transparent. You can actually see the reasoning behind it.
Exactly. And one of the researchers, Lev Tenkovich from Microsoft, he suggests that these kinds of AI systems can actually drive better decisions and stronger outcomes. Because it's not just about efficiency, it's about promoting understanding and, better thinking.
That's encouraging, right? So maybe AI can actually help us become better thinkers if it's designed in the right way.
I think that's the key. It's all about how we choose to use it. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used in ways that are helpful or, well, not so helpful.
So it's not about AI being good or bad, it's about how we use it. That's a really important point.
Absolutely, and I think it's something we need to keep in mind as we move forward with this technology.
Agreed. All right, well, this has been a really thought-provoking discussion. I think we've covered a lot of ground, but there's definitely more to unpack here. And, I'm really curious about how different generations are approaching AI, especially younger people who've grown up with this technology.
Yeah, that's a fascinating area to explore. I mean, their relationship with AI is so different from ours. It'll be interesting to see how that shapes their critical thinking skills.
Definitely. We'll have to dive into that another time. But for now, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI and critical thinking.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm still kind of stuck on that programmer who couldn't code without his AI. Like, it really makes you think.
Yeah, it's like what happens when AI does all the thinking for us? But I guess like we were saying, it all comes down to how it's designed right and how we use it.
Right. And you mentioned before the break that younger people, they might be more likely to like over rely on AI. What is it about them that makes them different from someone like me who, didn't grow up with all this?
Well, I mean, think about it. They've never known a world without like instant information, Google, AI assistants, it's all they've ever known.
So they're just used to having AI at their fingertips for everything.
Exactly. They're super skilled at using it, but some studies are saying that, well, they might also be quicker to turn to AI for stuff that needs, critical thinking.
So instead of figuring things out themselves, they just ask the AI.
Yeah, that's kind of the trend. But it's not always like laziness or anything. It might just be how they approach problems, more collaborative, like AI is their partner.
Interesting. So instead of just seeing AI as a source of answers, it's more like a partner in learning. Could that actually be a good thing?
It could be. I mean, maybe this generation is developing whole new skills that we don't even understand yet. Maybe they're becoming more adaptable, better at filtering information, better at working with AI.
Yeah, like AI is pushing them to evolve their thinking in new ways. So maybe instead of worrying about AI dumbing us down, it's actually making us smarter in ways we don't even realize yet.
It's possible, right? But this also means like our education system needs to catch up. We can't just teach kids how to use AI. We got to teach them how to use it well, ethically.
Totally. So we've talked about the downsides, but what about the good stuff? Can AI actually make us more intelligent?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. Personalized learning platforms, they could adapt to how you learn, point out what you're good at and what you struggle with, give you feedback tailored to you.
It's like having a personal tutor that knows exactly how your brain works.
Right. Or AI that helps us understand complicated stuff by breaking it down into smaller pieces, easier to digest.
So AI could help us learn more and learn better. That's a far cry from the whole, like, robots taking over our brains scenario.
Exactly. It's not about AI being good or bad. It's about us, how we design it, how we use it.
So we need to be like mindful and intentional about AI, but it seems like the potential benefits are huge if we can get it right.
Absolutely. Think of it like this. AI is a tool, right? Like any tool, it all depends on the skill of the person using it, what they're trying to achieve.
So the future of AI isn't set in stone. We still have a say in how this all plays out.
Exactly. We have the power to shape AI so that it helps humanity, helps us grow and evolve, not hold us back. We need to remember that.
It's really amazing to think about how, AI is already changing how we learn and think, especially for those who've like grown up with it.
It really makes you question, like, what does critical thinking even mean anymore when we have all this AI at our disposal,
Yeah, we've talked about both sides of it, right? The potential downsides of relying too much on AI, but also the exciting possibilities of using it to, actually enhance our own abilities.
Like it can either help us or hurt us, depending on how we approach it. The important thing is that we're not, just passive about it.
Right. We have to be proactive. We can't just let AI shape our world without, taking control ourselves.
Exactly. We should be thinking, how can we use AI to make ourselves smarter, more creative? Not just rely on it to do everything for us.
So it's about embracing AI as a tool for like self-improvement, for growth.
Exactly. Like imagine AI that helps us see our own biases, helps us overcome those blind spots, or helps us understand really complex issues in a new way. What if AI could actually make us more empathetic, more compassionate?
That's a pretty powerful idea, like AI helping us become not just smarter, but better people too.
And to get there, we need to start thinking critically about AI itself. Teach people how to evaluate the information it gives us, understand its limitations.
So we need to be like informed users, not just blindly trusting whatever AI tells us.
Right, we got to be savvy. And it's not just about individuals, we need to be having these conversations as a society. Like what kind of rules and regulations do we need around AI? How do we make sure the benefits are shared fairly?
These are really important questions, and they're not easy to answer.
Nope, but the more we talk about it, the better prepared we'll be for whatever's coming next?
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember, like, this whole AI thing is still pretty new.
Oh yeah, we're just starting to understand what it can do, both the good and the bad. The choices we make now are going to have a big impact on what happens in the future.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about, like, what kind of future we want to create. Do we want AI to help make the world a better place, a more just and intelligent society?
Exactly. Those are the big questions we need to be thinking about. And the answers depend on the choices we make, all of us, together.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive. It's been really interesting. But if you had to pick one message to leave our listeners with, what would it be?
I'd say the future of AI, it's not set in stone. We're creating it right now, all of us. So let's do it with intention, with mindfulness, and make sure AI helps us become more human, not less.
Well said. That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI and critical thinking. We hope it's given you some things to think about.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great.